I don't know what is. So I knew we were supposed to get a storm around 5. It's 3. So I booked my live at 3 because I'm like, well, that'll be safe. No, as I'm getting the closer to the live, within just a few minutes, I'm supposed to start. The sky goes completely dark, and we have a tornado warning whistle going off forever. I'm gathering the dogs, and I got my flashlights and candles, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to be going live, and we're here, we're safe. The sky has lightened up. Like, that was quick. Like, it was 1 minute bright, the next minute dark, and now it's light again. The rain has stopped. We do have more coming, but I really want to thank you for your prayers. Welcome to A Level Lemon True Crime. I'm super happy to be here. Super happy because, you know, if I wasn't, that would mean that we had a bad storm. And I watched, you know, ironically, I watched Storm Chasing last night, and I was like on the edge of my seat screaming, go, 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 you know, and then we get this. So maybe I shouldn't watch all that. But welcome back if you are returning. Welcome in if you are new. We are going to go back into Tucson, Arizona. I say back into, I've never left it. I'm covering many cases at the same time. I often do that. I've been in true crime since 2016. And so I do, I guess, bob around, you know. And I've been watching the Lynette Hooker case, and the man left the Bahamas while she's missing. She allegedly fell out of a dinghy. Now he is I'm seeing photographs with his wedding ring off. He's got the whole tan hand and the white ring, no ring on the finger, and I'm like, what? So I probably will be back to covering that case again, and doing that. But for today, we're going to be talking about this circus that's going on. That's what's happened in the Nancy Guthrie case, which does happen to cases when they become stagnant. When you have people asking, is this case going cold? All of a sudden, the most bizarre stuff starts happening, and it's like, you know, you start feeling overwhelmed. And there's some things I'm just not going to touch. I'm going to stay in my own lane in the Nancy Guthrie case, and I'm going to focus on what we got. And we have hair. We have hair that the FBI has now gotten. What are they going to be able to do with the other lab that's so qualified to create the strands and all that? And they can't. All the FBI is good at is genealogy, ancestral geology, in my opinion. And so is that the route they're taking, which could take months? I don't think we're going to hear anything overnight. But at the same time, Savannah Guthrie got up and like disappeared right in the middle of programming. She did the teaser for the interview, and then she wasn't there. It was her co-worker. And I can't say the lady's name proper, so I'm not going to say it. Huda? I could be wrong. I can't say it right. There's Truth Train. Shouldn't have tried. Okay. But then Savannah was back at the end of the program. You know, could it be that that's the way they wanted to run that? Or was it a sensitive topic to Savannah because it was about Mary Mother kind of energy? Or was some movement happen? Did something happen? Well, we've heard from the actual program, or news program that received the first 2 letters, that nothing has moved in the Nancy Guthrie Bitcoin accounts. Nothing has moved. So they didn't pull their way and go, hey, there's movement. But it is weird timing with the hair. FBI, Savannah's there, she's not. I don't know. But what I want to talk to you about is, how are they going to solve this case if it is someone in the family or in an inner circle, if they're already saying, well, the hair is unknown and doesn't... I'm trying to get my head wrapped around this. If they've already ruled out family, but they don't have a perp, How's that work? You don't know who did it, but you know who didn't do it. How do you know who didn't do it? Because there's always this sandwich in crime. There's so many different ways you can build that sandwich. And one of them is where you're a third party hired person to commit said crime. And first party, and I may have that all backwards, like third party hires first party, maybe that way. Yeah, that makes more sense. And so how could you rule that out if you don't know who did it? So stop it. Pima County, get your head out of your arse and realize until you have the actual perp or at least a known suspect, you ain't ruling nobody out. No matter what you say, no matter what, the facts are the facts. And you can't rule anybody out until you know who did it and see where their contacts lay. Also, I did get from Monk's Intrigue, or Monk's Intuition, forgive me if I say it wrong, I did get a link provided to that channel, and he was showing some really interesting stuff about the shoes and how it could be a female Sketcher shoe. And I was like, oh, wow, that's interesting. And then the other thing that's out there right now is this whole Zodiac connection. And is it the brother and all that? I'm going to leave that alone. I'm not going to touch that because I believe in my theory that it has to do with a very tight-knit group that are in the inner circle that have like aligned this, and that's what I believe. The information of watching that perp on camera, how comfortable they were there, knowing that the flowers weren't poisonous, didn't have stickers, knowing, the area enough to go back, all that. And I got to looking at the face of the perp. And I'm like, there's something that we didn't see before. I think he has a prosthetic mask on, and then the hat mask. What is that called? The conch. What is that called around the whole head? Baklava. I can't say that either. All right, so welcome to 1111 True Crime, as I said before. And I've got my live audience here. I want to thank you so much for joining in chat, and thank you for watching at home. If you are on replay, and if you're in the live but not in the chat, thank you as well. I appreciate every single one of you. Guys have been rocking this channel. You've been hyping it up. You've been doing all these wonderful things, and it shows. Your support inspires me to dig deep into things. And what I'm about to show you is what I said was my own lane. I pulled a little bit of the research that Daphne Case Files, go check her out, an amazing channel. She is a thorough mapper. A lot of us YouTubers, okay, that's just what I call us. A lot of us true crime YouTubers have our own niche inside of true crime. Some of us are amazing at storytelling. Some of us can collect all the details and put it together. Others are wonderful at theories. That's me. Then you've got Daphne Case Files that does the actual mapping of everything. And in that, she's showing us information that could puzzle piece and connect to what I've been saying about the dolly. So a car would not be required because it's a half a block this way and it's a half a block this way. You're at the perp's house if this place was used, which the police went there and had caution tape all around it, but we never heard a word. This gets weird. So what I wanted to talk about is, what if we have a magic trick being performed beneath a mask? I mean, what a brilliant way to do something is to mask up with one of those masks. I didn't get one that looks like a person right? But it comes down, the mask comes down into the shoulder area, and it transforms your face. Why would you do that? Well, when I look at the perp on camera, there's extra lines around the eyes that really shouldn't be there. They're not wrinkles, they're flaps. And I'm like, what is going on? Because the clavicle mask is way out like that, right? And you've got the little hole for the mouth. But around the eyes, there's extra flapping. And like I said, you can see it's not wrinkles. It's distortion of the... And so, if that's true, what we see as perky eyelids might not be perky eyelids. It could be an older person wearing a mask. And why would they not even care? Unless they're worried about eye recognition. That's the only thing. And they could have had contacts in to make them look like a different color. Who knows? I mean, contacts can even change the shape of your irises. And they may have. All of this kind of played into part. And then I'm thinking about the dolly and the track leading down the driveway and everything I shared. And I'm like, let's look into this. So, happy to be here. And I know I'm just like full of everything today. But I want to get on to this. So let me grab this map. Is this the one with Daphne? Yeah. So let's talk about Daphne for a minute. Like I said, she does a wonderful job of mapping. And in this, she's about to show us how close the perps would be to Nancy Guthrie's house if they were standing in a set up, if you will, in a nearby house that doesn't have anybody living there. Now keep in mind, one of these houses is for sale, the other is for rent, and these are vacant homes. What a perfect place to not need a car. And if you look, there's really not much that's going to catch you. It's pitch black. There's not a street light. What if in his backpack was black blanketing or blackout curtains that were going to be wrapping around Nancy to strap her to this dolly, and so she's going to appear invisible in the dark night. And you could literally go one block, half a block this way, half a block that way, and you're at your place with the victim. And you've done it alone. You didn't need nobody. Especially if you're the hired party. Especially if somehow, some way, Nancy got sedation in something she ate prior to where she's out, because you know she's not going to hear real good. You've got that back area that we're going to be looking at that has a dolly, and the handles are reversed, which is usually for doing it this way. When something's laid more flat, you want the handles up, not underneath, compared to, this way. And then we have the blood on the porch that has that one zigzag track. I showed you all this last video, that the zigzag tracking matches many of the dolly tracks. Those are the same type of tires that are on Nancy's dolly, which is right by the garage where the gate was blocked open. And if you're bringing a dolly, almost everybody I know will block the doors open. You don't want to be fiddling with the door where you got the dolly. You're going to prop the dolly up. You're going to prop the doors open. Then you're going to proceed. I've showed you how I feel like if Nancy was on said dolly, that when they got to that front door, they had to prop it open, because the door is going to open like that. You've got the door, you've got the screen door. That'd be awkward. You'd have to prop them open if you're going to go out the front. And in that, they may have had to set her upright where her head's going to dangle in the entryway. He's going to open them. He's going to maneuver the doorway. Now he wants to shut, I don't know why, but he's going to shut maybe so people can't drive by and just see both doors propped open in the front and be like, oh, real early in the game, buying some time. He wants those doors closed because everybody driving by can see Nancy's front door, which you can't in a lot of other homes, but you can in this one. And so he's going to want to shut those doors. So he's got to set her up again. And as soon as she does, she's going to get that blood puddle, right? And this is one person could commit this entire crime if they had simply an unlocked back gate and an unlocked back door. Or if they knew how to pick a lock that required a key, like a locksmith type energy. We've heard about a locksmith that broke into some woman's home and was standing in her bedroom that's in the same vicinity. That's strange. But what I wanted to talk to you about is, in this area of these vacant homes, I got sent this guy's picture. Now, I'm not trying to just grab random people out of thin air either. But somebody had to be the perp. So let's just look at everybody. Everybody's a suspect in my book. The reason I'm looking at this guy isn't because I think he's guilty. It's because he was working, I don't know if I've got this right, so do your own research. He was working for a guy that owned one of the homes that got sent to prison for bad things like breaking and entering and so forth. Does that make sense? Somehow he's connected to the gemologist, like the gemologist's son had a business and he got in trouble, and then this guy was working for him. And so I don't know. He has a rap sheet. He has all kinds of bad things on his rap sheet. All I'm going to do is show you his face and tell you his name. Like I said, I don't know if it'll be him or not, but we'll look. So if you look at Nancy's house here and we listen to Daphne, she's going to show you where these places are.
Earth. I'm going to back up some here. This is Nancy's home right here. I honestly believe, this is in my whole heart, I believe this perpetrator was posted up over here.
So she's showing you. This is Nancy's home right here. See the pool? The driveway? Look at this. Let's do the whole Price is Right guy going off the cliff. Dun 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 dun. Or it could be Wizard of Oz. Dun 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 dun. And we have home for sale, empty vacant home. Or we could go 2 more houses down and we have an empty vacant home here that is allegedly for rent. What's interesting is we have the guy right here that had the dog that allegedly barked. Was he barking at the perp, which I've explained could have easily come in and come around the back of Nancy's property? Don't give me that sticker crap. Brian Inton, I proved Brian Inton himself was out in this behind Nancy's house right up to the brick wall. Brian Inton isn't no mountain climber. If he can do it, the perp can do it. And if you have a headlamp on to do all that, you can see fine. There's walking paths behind Nancy's home. You could easily come up on the back side of the guest house, right back here. Or you could have even followed this little path right here and come up through here. I've showed it to you guys. In that, if you look, maybe if you look, we get to, I say all this and then I gotta scroll, the back of the garage, where I've circled right here, this, because it's got the dolly right there in Nancy's backyard, right by the garage. And that's the door you would need to bring the dolly out of, because you can't go this way. That's not a door. We have a little electrical panel. How interesting. Wonder if her lights went out. And then also we have this air conditioning unit. And so if you come back, Oh, and the garbage cans. How convenient. If you come back through here, we go through the gate and then boom. So all we need is this gate to be propped open. Did Nancy go into the house? The door took 2 minutes to close. No problem. Did someone simply key the door and prop it open with the flower pot so that it wouldn't close all the way? Was Nancy in the habit of leaving the back door open so she could toilet the dog? Because she had this master lock here and a really strong front door. So if she didn't lock her back door because she had that security gate back there, then it's one guy job. He cuts through, gets that dog barking, cuts through the yard, goes straight over to behind that garage, gets the dolly, goes through the gate, goes through the back door, props it open, because what if it is a keyed entry, but it's been propped open for you? Maybe it automatically locks or something. I don't know. Maybe it was just propped. And then you take that dolly, you pull your black tarp, which is non-reflective. That's why you would have it. You'd put it over the dolly. You'd take the unconscious victim that's been previously sedated, allegedly. You'd lay them on the dolly. You'd wrap the black tarp around their body and around the dolly, and you'd ratchet strap the person in 3 places: across the shoulder, the waist, and right at the knees. That way the knees can't bend. Boom, you're out that front door. When you get to that front door, you're going to have to set them upright because you're alone. You're going to prop open those front doors. You're going to push her through, set her upright, go back, close the doors. You don't want anybody to see that that door's open at 8 a.m. You're trying to buy time. You then are going to go right down, tip her back this way. That's why the blood stops, because now she's like this. She's bleeding on herself. And you're going to walk it 1 block over to one of these abandoned houses. And that's why that dog triggered, in my opinion. What do you guys think? Yeah, why would he return the dolly if he took Nancy with it? Maybe he didn't use that dolly. Maybe he brought his own. Maybe he came with his own dolly. Maybe it's coincidental that Nancy had a dolly outside. Maybe the only way into the backyard and the back area and the only place open was that gate, which could have been propped open with that flower pot, not by the perp, but could have been somebody that dropped Nancy off. It could have been somebody that was inside the home earlier, and he brought his own dolly. But that's the tracks we also see. In my opinion, a lot of people were like, are they wheelchair tracks? I've had to push a wheelchair thousands of times as a med tech. I pass out medication. I help elderly residents and people that are on recovery, in rehab, had knee replacements, so forth. So we use a lot of wheelchairs. This is not a wheelchair. As you can see, these are wider tires, and they are 2 sets, not 4. And if you look at this, if this was a dolly, he'd be pulling that dolly behind him most likely if, you're doing this by yourself. And so it would be as simple as leverage and a little bit of a magic trick to put that prosthetic mask on underneath the cloth clavala or whatever it's called. And then the whole woman, feminine thing, he could be someone that crosses, right? Feminine and not. What are you guys feeling? Cat Lady says, Pima County was out and about a quarter of a mile from Nancy's checking a vehicle. Oh, that's interesting. Wonder if it's related. Cinderella, Ella. I'm looking for an overhead image of Nancy's house on Bing the other day when TC was videoed coming out from, Tommaso was videoed coming out from behind the casita. It piqued your interest. It is interesting that he came out from there. Casey says Pima County post Nancy was located, but then backtracked. Well, it was Nancy, but not Nancy Guthrie. There was another Nancy missing, so just know that. 2x2, there's a small building. This building can't be seen on Google Earth, etc., because the trees have grown since. Interesting. Balaclava, there it is. I couldn't remember the word. Such a weird word. How far? I don't know, because the only picture I got was right down, because she bled on the porch, and then a little ways down here, and then see the dolly had to come down a few steps, so she stepped all the way back. There should be no blood here. And then the person's going to pull her, if she's on dolly, across this entire driveway, and that's what we have. Now, someone said it was the feds. They were coming in with their forensic kit and so forth. It wasn't the feds, because this is on February 3rd, the day after, and the feds had not been called yet, so no. And at this point, we didn't even have the homicide team fully doing interviews and pressers yet. This is the day after, and it's right there. Those are some pretty fresh tracks. I think they do hold a lot of weight. It was on the Juicy said it was related. I'm uncertain. I do know that there was a Nancy found that was not a Nancy Guthrie, because I saw that on the Pima site. Balaclava, there it is. So I wanted to look at this dude that, because in this theory we would have to have this payout guy, this paid perp that's going to pick up the delivery, right, on the dolly, the package on the dolly, and walk it back to their house that they're staying at. This dude, he's got a terrible past. You can check him out. His name is Clay. Where is he? Clay Crouch. And his last name almost spells crotch. I'm sorry. It says Crouch, but it made me think of the crotch guy. The weapon. Kind of silly, right? Anyway, this is the dude. And I'm like, you know what? You guys do send me a lot of different faces, and I can see why it isn't them. But with this dude, I'm like, he's got some pretty eyes. Do y'all see what I'm saying? And he was working somehow. He was a worker for somebody that went to prison. And I don't quite understand how he's connected. But this is the information. Balaclava is a desert. Interesting. My bird Sonny says then the sheriff's department drove all over the tracks. Exactly. Yes, that's what the police did do. Interesting. Okay. So I'm like, wow, this person who sent me this, one of our 1111 private eyes, are watching you. Are watching the Perp. I'm up for everything, I'm like, who knows? Now everybody's innocent until proven guilty into a court of law. I am not a court of law. I am not accusing this guy. I'm seeing if he looks like porch guy. That's all. So do you want a mask? Do you want to do it and see? I mean, everybody looks like the porch guy. All right, I've got him all lined up here. Let's move this dude out of the way. That's the picture I've got over here. Now, before we do this, I want to show you why I'm interested. Okay, I'm just showing you what, let me get to the website. Okay, why is it not showing? There it is. So, I'm just saying, he'd be about 43 years old. He's Caucasian. He has brown hair, green eyes. He was jailed in Pima County. He's out at the time of the crime, so I don't know. I'm gonna just say he's got arrested in his past. Looks like he's been clean for a while though. It's 2026, and it looks like he was arrested back in 2009. Long shot. Again, y'all, I am not claiming that this dude did a thing. I'm just curious because everybody keeps saying, please check this dude out. So with that being said, let's get over to our PowerPoint and let's work on this. Okay. So I got the mask guy. I wanted you to look really close before we start. I want you to look at what I'm talking about on the mask. Okay, we don't want to do that. I want to draw. I want red. Not that big, right there. I was looking at this. The eyebrows are perfect. Too perfect. Too perfect. We have this real weird, like, lip or a flap right around here. It could even be going around here. And then it almost looks like a fold or something. But this eyebrow is so perfect. It made me think of a mask. Over here, you can see something is very strange with the edging here. And I don't think that is eyelashes. It's the actual skin has got this. I'm going to take the picture, the drawing off. You can clearly see this weirdness. It's almost like flap of the mask was torn. And you've got some weird folding here. There's something wrong underneath this mask. It feels to me like this is another mask. Like right through here. And the only part that feels real and then there's something that lines down like that, which I don't know if that's a fold in the mask, but this is what I feel. Everything else feels like a mask underneath a mask. Because there's flaps. And okay, I'm not dumb. I've got hooded eyelids. I know what that is. This is too sharp of flaps around the eyes. It's too uneven. Like a hooded area could be like that, but not like this. And so did this person decide to put on a prosthetic mask? Like, remember back when Jim Carrey was being questioned about the French thing at the French award, and everybody's like, is that a guy in a mask? Some dude came out and was like, it was me. I was in a prosthetic mask and I was pretending to be Jim Carrey, which is bullshit. But those masks are easy to get a hold of. You can literally get those. And if you're pulling off a high stakes abduction, because, hey, her billfold wasn't even taken. So it's not theft. Why wouldn't you go to the extreme to put on a mask and then put the other mask on the top? Because it's really going to obscure your features. And unless somebody can recognize your eyes in infrared, you are not going to be fearful of the camera. You can look right at it because it could make you look like a woman. And would you maybe even put false eyelashes on to really be confusing? You know? Is it a do-it-yourself mask, says Leanne. That's a great question. How about the painter's mask? Well, a painter's mask just is for breathing. Well, unless you're I've never seen a painter's mask like over that. The perp's eyes never blinked. It is a face mask under the balaclava. And I bet they can see through the eyes, but you never see him blink. You are so right. You never see that perp blink. He looks right at the camera. Now, if you have on one of those prosthetic masks, it could also cover your eyes, but they have that where you can see through this way, but you can't see through this way over the eyes around here. I don't know. Maybe it is a woman. Our painter's clothing outfit, that's white. Not always. I was married to a painter. They wear anything and everything because they're going to destroy it. They buy the cheapest shit at Walmart. Truthfully. 2 sets of gloves and mask, 2 layers. So, like a magic trick, he transforms who he is by padding up, by double masking, double gloving, increasing his weight size by maybe putting 2 jackets on, wearing woman's shoes maybe. Always thought that it's a contractor. He does walk like a builder, in your opinion. Yes. Jean, we're sitting in safe now. It cleared up. Everything's clear right now. I had a moment. I was like, what are we going to do here? It says, is there a scar on one eyebrow? I don't think so. I think that this whole weird situation, let me get it back over to you. I think this whole weird situation through here is because if you're gonna have a mask, okay? If you're gonna have a mask, it's not always gonna fit every single person's face, so it could get bunched up. I used to do the haunted house, and we did prosthetics, we did face masks, we did the whole prosthetic mask for the head, and a lot of the times, some of the problems was where it didn't fit the actor or actress right through here, because everybody's a little bit different. So I'm wondering. Now, let's get back over here. Let's get that off the board. Let's shrink it down. Well, actually, we don't have to because we're just comparing the eyes for now. Okay? All right, we've got the dude. Are you ready for the transition? Hold on just a minute. Aw, Jennifer Swain. I miss you, sissy. Jennifer's away helping family right now, and I miss her. Okay, are you ready for this? We're going to use our transition. We're going to go right down to... Hold on, let me get caught up on chat. Okay. Nancy is still missing. Yes. Here we go. We have the full eyes, right? And don't forget, this dude, this could be an older picture, so I don't know. OMG. Every time I'm like floored. I don't want to get excited because everybody matches this mask guy. He matches for me. I'm like, OMG, he's got the eyelashes. But then Nancy Guthrie matched too, and Tommaso matched, and Dominic Evans matched. Everybody matches. As to what degree did they match? This dude matches too. I just couldn't. I'm like, I can't anymore. I don't know what to do. And there's a little bit more with him that's very, very alarming. Let me go back and show you how close his eyes are. It matches. Everybody's saying it matches. It matches perfectly, though. Yeah. And we're going to have to dig into him because he does match so well. Like, everything matches so damn well. And he does have, which everybody has brought up to me, saying there is something weird about this eyelid right here for the perp, right? Because of that. Now, I'm not doing a good job. Hold on. Let's just... You got that. But then he's got this weird eyelid thing, right? Okay. And it holds true. Now I'm going to take it away so you can see underneath it. So does this person. Now let's go down. Let's shrink it. Before we get too excited, I've only got part of the face, but we're going to draw around the dude's face. His face. Let's go back up here and get his face. Let's draw on him. Now, I don't care about the hair. I mean, hair can be flattened. Ears can be flattened. I want to get the feel of his head. So, if he shaved his head and then he flattened his ear. Now, keep in mind, this could be an older picture. He might be a little bit fatter. He's got, what is that called? A cleft chin? Which, oh, I just went off the picture. I'm not excellent at this, right? So bear with me. I don't know where his old head would be. It won't matter because we don't have this side of the perp's head, so you'll just have to imagine. Okay, so we traced around his little face there. Let's just go see where it ends up. Yeah, it even works. It even works. It even works with the width of the face. You know what I'm saying, Vern? Like, I circle his face. And keep in mind, this part isn't even on the mass picture that I have. So, let's go here. Let's go transparent. Let's just easy on back. And you've got the shape of the face. And that is an old picture? Yeah, Julie. We'd have to look at a new one. This guy is Clay Crouch, right, Storm? He does have doll eyes. I know. He got pretty eyes. It matches, but everyone seems to match, right? I'm so confused. My bird, Sonny. I'm with you. I'm with y'all. I'm with y'all. All right. So, I mean, it's confusing to me as much as you. But if they've already ruled out family and they're like, well, if this hair comes back to family, we have nothing. You know what I'm saying? We've got to catch the perp. And the question is Clay part of that? Do we need to dig deeper? He passed the smell test. Does he match? He could be. We need a more current picture. So I'm sending my private eyes out there with a little homework. Dig up information and email it to me at rubberducky2005. I will dig in deeper. And we'll come back together and see what we have after we've dug. Maybe it's worth looking into. But I stay in my own lane. It's got to be somebody very close to that house. We have those vacant homes all around Nancy's. If they did use the dolly, if they even brought their own dolly, they would block open the back door and the gate to come through with a dolly. Doesn't have to be Nancy's dolly. I would take her dolly and I would be doing DNA swabs all over the tires, the feet, the handle. And so what if I got DNA? I might even get blood. Who knows? But if it wasn't her dolly, you live that damn close. Who's to say? You're a construction guy. Even if you get caught at 2 a.m, if you're coming from a place that you're renovating, so what if you have a dolly? Nobody's going to be like, oh, I bet he's off to abduct a 84-year-old woman out of her bed and going to holler on that dolly. No. Nobody even is looking. It's 2, 3 a.m. So, makes you wonder. Makes me wonder. I want to say thank you for tuning in. And again, it's like a magic trick. If you wore a prosthetic mask if he used a dolly, it could be one guy. And if he was the one that was hired and did the job, the hirer isn't going to say shite. And so you have that small circle. And why that 1.2 million ain't been tapped or touched. Because we got the perp and we got the payout. That's a small circle. Really tiny. All right, my lovelies, I want to say thank you so much, first of all, for your prayers that kept me safe through the last storm and today's storm. Thank you. Thank you for the hypes, likes, and everything. Say a prayer for Nancy Guthrie. I'm going to jump over. I'm going to pull some cards. Today, I'm going to do it. I'm jumping into the perp's mind, and I'm going to do his reading as if he has asked me to do a reading. We're going to see what kind of clues come out. It could be about his job. Doesn't have to be about the case. I just want his profile. What things can we learn about his personality and his energy and his actions in a reading? If that's not your thing, I totally understand, and you can skip that step. If you are joining me, it's just a jump to the left, and we're going to get right on it. Or right, I'm not political. It's right down the middle for me. All right, loves, with that being said, thank you again. I love you to the moon and back, and I will see you in just a moment.
From the dust I was born, to the dirt I shall return. When my eyes are closed, in the shadows, my enemy